All right, guys, while my last video is uploading to YouTube, I just want to record a quick video to let you know that the Koptalk podcast will be returning on Monday, the 2nd of September, once the transfer window is closed. It's very difficult to update the podcast during a transfer window because, you record something and within 10 minutes it's gone live, and, it's just completely different to making a video. If I record a video of a transfer story and it's out of date within 10 minutes, I can quickly just do another video. You can't do that with the podcast. And to be honest with you, I struggle with the podcast all year round as well, so it doesn't help. Now, the podcast will come back on Monday, the 2nd of September. I have brought the podcast back, got rid of it, brought it back, got rid of it, over decades of doing Koptalk, right? I know that it's very popular. You guys like to listen to the audio, especially you guys that are working, driving around the country or at the gym or whatever. Whatever you're doing, you got the audio. I do want to continue that for you. It's a ball ache for me, I've got to be honest. But this is the way that it's going to work, right? I need your emails for the podcast to work, because when emails come in every day, it creates momentum. It's got me going. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got purpose. Like, right, I've got 3 emails to discuss. So that at least is going to give me 15 minutes of podcast, regardless of what's actually in the news. So a lot of people listen to the podcast, but don't send emails in. So if you're one of the people that enjoy the podcast or think you would enjoy it, I need you to email me. And you can start that now, because, obviously if you start sending an email today, it can't really be time relevant about yesterday's game, because it wouldn't make sense on the 2nd of September. But as you approach that date, maybe you do want to email me or something. And I think that the more emails I get, the more it puts me under pressure to do an episode. Otherwise, the podcast will go. It's been well supported. A lot of people that support the podcast, through buying you a coffee, if you like, they've dropped out because obviously there's been no episodes for a while, so I don't blame them. But I'm sure they will come back if there is regular content. But I really need your help with it. If you enjoy it, then I will do it, but I can't do it by myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to have something else in there to talk about. And just, your emails, even if it's not a question, just your emails saying this, that, the other about LFC. So the email address is podcast@koptalk.com. And I think www.koptalkpodcast.com is still online. I assume so. Let me take, what I'm like, I'm fucking useless. Let's have a look. www.koptalkpodcast.com. It's online. Yeah, it says 23 years covering LFC. It's changing to 26, 27. So yeah, if you go there, it will show you how you can listen to the podcast. There's 437 episodes available. I trim them after a while. We also have an X account and a Facebook account, Koptalk Podcast. So if you want to get into the mood for it, go on Facebook, facebook.com/Koptalk Podcast, on X @Koptalk Podcast. I need you to follow these. Yes, pal. Sorry. I've got a mate coming down to my house, just asking me if he can pop round. I need you to follow, on X and on Facebook, yeah. But together we can do it. I don't want to axe the podcast. I enjoy the podcast, but it is time consuming, and I need you to help me with it, all right? If you supported the podcast previously and the podcast comes back, please do, come in and support again. Do you know what I mean? Because there's podcast hosting, we've got to pay for that. The podcast doesn't make any money. Like, it doesn't really make any money to go and do anything. It literally just covers the hosting and things like that, So I'm not too bothered about that, but I feel like, I feel disappointed because I know some of you like it and you've dropped out, and I feel like I've let you down, but I need help with it. Do you know what I mean? And your emails help me. And I've said that all through the years that I've done the podcast, because it's your opinions that count. Do you know what I mean, guys? So anyway, it will be back on Monday, the 2nd of September, with or without emails. I'm just saying it does help me. And it's podcast@koptalk.com. And if you go on Spotify, if you go on any podcast application, I use Pocket Casts. Okay, Pocket Casts. You can find that on the iPhone, the App Store, or Android, the Play Store. Pocket Cast, it's free. It's the best podcast app, in my opinion. And you can just search Koptalk, LFC, whatever, and you'll find us. And also Dunk Knows Best, D-U-N-K, Dunk Knows Best. That's my other podcast, nothing to do with football. That is also coming back once the window closes. All right, so help a brother out. It'd be appreciated. You know, your views are important, and every email is read out, guys. All right, so Monday 2nd of September, the podcast will return, and I hope that you will be joining me on there. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Go and subscribe now. It's completely free. All right, cheers.